Yo, what up? What up? Jonathan Belcher, aka Jadiscrete. You already know the name. Jadiscrete is because I make hip hop music. But we about to talk about some things in this video. We about to get into it. So my parents, they were never married. They were never ever married. For as long as I can remember, I really just view them as being friends. You know what I'm saying? But when they had me, when my parents had me, they kind of just worked together to make sure to raise me right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was growing up for me. But my parents were never married, and not only were they never married, my parents never really lived in the same house for real. You know, I never grew up in just one house with both my parents in it. So growing up, I also never really saw my parents argue like that. Never really saw my parents argue like that. When it came to me, they were always seeing eye to eye, doing what was best for me, which is kind of rare. A lot of people who have parents who aren't together or who separated, usually the parents don't get along. Usually they have a lot of arguments and a lot of fights going on growing up and stuff like that. But that wasn't the case for me. It's kind of like, even up to this day, I still look at my parents as just being cordial friends. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, my dad always lived in Queens, and my mom lived in Queens at first. We used to live on Hillside in Queens, and then as I got a little older, my mom moved to Long Island. Right? My mom moved to Long Island, so I was going back and forth from Queens to Long Island every single weekend. I would go to see my dad, and my dad lived in Queens. So every weekend I was in Queens. Every summer I was in Queens. But throughout, like every day during the week, I was with my mom. I was living with my mom. So when we had moved to Long Island, when my mom moved to Long Island, because she was like, she wanted to have me grow up in a better school system. She wanted to have me grow up in a better environment. So my mom moved to Long Island and obviously put me in the school in Long Island. You feel me? So we moved to Elmont, and I started going to the school called Covert Avenue. There's a school, elementary school called Covert Avenue, right? And I'm about to get into the story of this white racist bitch I'm about to talk about in this video. But I'm just giving you the backstory of how I got there. So we moved to Long Island, and when I hit the 6th grade, I was going to Covert Avenue, right? So the way Long Island schools are set up is set up different from the city, right? It's set up different from Brooklyn and set up different from Queens. The way it is like in the elementary school, you got from kindergarten all the way to 6th grade in one elementary school. It's not like Queens where you have, 1st grade to 5th grade, and then you have 6th to 8th middle school. It wasn't like that. It was like from 1st grade, from kindergarten all the way to 6th graders was in one school, and that was your elementary school. And then when you graduated from there, I went to Sewanaka High School, and that went from 7th grade all the way up to 12th grade. So you talking about middle schoolers and high schoolers all in the same school. So the structure of the schooling was a little different in Long Island. So when I got to Long Island, when I got to 6th grade in Covert Avenue, right, I'm basically a senior in the elementary school at this time. I had this white racist bitch. Her name was Miss McEwen, right? And Miss McEwen was like, I remember her more than any other teacher probably in my elementary years, because this bitch was just so mean. You know what I'm saying? And to keep it real with you, I was always a kid that got good grades. Just being real. My grades was never bad. I never had no issues with tests. My grades were around like anywhere always from like 85 to like 90, like a 93 average growing up. It always was like that, right? Because I was the type of kid, if I ever saw a 70 on my test or a 75 on my test, I would really get upset. I'd be pissed off. So school was real important to me. And my pops, my dad, he was real strict about school growing up. So that was another thing that kept me on board. But the main things I cared about in school growing up was getting fly, right? Dressing nice. And also I cared about girls. I cared about girls growing up, right? Just being real with you. 300 to freedom, baby. We going to keep it real in this video. We going to tell it like it is in this video. 300 to freedom. So, by the way, my album, my project, Forever Blessed, is out now. You can check out all my music on all streaming platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, you name it. You can find my music on all streaming platforms. All you got to do is search the name Jadis Creek, right? So, anyway, like I was saying, so I was in Covert Avenue in the 6th grade, and I had this teacher named Miss McEwen, this tall white lady with like blondish, whitish hair. This lady was so mean that when she smiled, it didn't even look like a smile. It looked like the bitch had like a evil grin. You ever seen people like that? Like even when they're smiling, they look evil as fuck. Like this is the type of person this was. A person that when she smiled, you felt like, damn, what type of evil shit is she up to right now? Like this is how this lady looked. But I remember in my classroom, we had like this class clown, this white kid named Joe Giannotti, right? Italian. He used to sit like in the back of the class. Like I'd sit here and Joe Giannotti would sit like right here, just talk mad shit, bullshit the whole class, crack jokes and stuff. You know, a lot of times I'll crack jokes with him, but when it came down to the work, when it came down to academically, Joe Giannotti was not fucking with me. Like his grades was nowhere near on my level. You know what I'm saying? Like his grades was nowhere near on my level, and Miss McCune would constantly have to tell him, Joe, shut up. Joe, be quiet. Joe, stop talking. Like throughout the whole class, like every damn day, it was like this. Because this kid just loved cracking jokes, loved talking, and just being a nuisance in the class. But I wasn't that type of kid. I was like more of the kid that was focused on school, more on the quiet, but also crack a joke here and there type of thing. That's how I was as a kid. But my grades was always lit. It was always good. Now, I was a senior in this particular elementary school because once I graduated after this grade, once I graduated from Miss McEwen, it was time to go into the high school, right? And the high school was from 7th grade to 12th grade. But before you graduate, all the teachers, all the 6th grade teachers would have a meeting together, right? They would sit down, have a meeting, and they would discuss which kids should go into the advanced placement, the advanced classes of the high school that we were about to go to, right? So in high school, we had the regular classes, which was for like, you know, kids who weren't that, I can't say weren't that smart, but I should say the regular classes was for students who were getting average grades, right? Their grade score was pretty average. And then you had advanced placement classes, which was for kids getting like 85 average and above. You know what I'm saying? So, but that, in order for you to go into the advanced placement, you had to have been recommended when these teachers had the sit-down meeting. You know what I'm saying? So this is why Miss McEwen is a racist-ass bitch. I'll never forget it up to this day. When I got to high school, right? When I got to high school, after 6th grade, when I left Covert Avenue and went to high school, all my classes were regular. They didn't put me, remind you, I had a better grade point average than Joe Giannotti. I had a better grade point average, just being real, than most of the kids in the class. You know, there's probably maybe 4 or 5 other students getting better grades than me in the class. But I had a better grade point average than Joe Giannotti, hands down. And I wasn't even nowhere near as disruptive as him in the class. So I get to high school now, all my classes are regular. But I started realizing there were these advanced classes that the smarter kids were in, right? Which kind of looked a lot more prestigious to be in AP. They call it AP, advanced placement, right? So I'm noticing these kids are in advanced classes. So it wasn't until the 8th grade. See, in 7th grade, I was getting my foot wet, learning the ropes. You know, I'm just I'm going crazy because so many girls is in the school. You got girls who's in the 12th grade. I'm in the 7th grade. You got girls in the 11th grade. I'm in the 7th grade, and you looking at them, and they looking mad good in the hallway and stuff. So, it took me a while to understand what was going on as far as the separation from regular classes and AP. But next thing you know, when 9th grade came around, I went home and I told I told my dad, I was like, yo, pops, like, all of these kids, they're in the advanced placement classes and I'm not, and I don't understand why I'm not in the advanced placement classes. But by the time we caught on what was going on, I was in the 9th grade already. Now, this bitch, Miss McEwen, basically purposely left my name out of being recommended. She didn't recommend me to go into AP classes. And my question is, how the fuck you forget to mention my name when you know that my grades were way higher than Joe Giannotti's grades? And Joe Giannotti got to be in advanced classes, but not me. How the fuck y'all left me out? Of course, Joe Giannotti was white. Joe Giannotti is white. Just being real with y'all. Joe Giannotti is white. And I'm not saying everything is about race, but that seemed racist to me. How do you have a black student in the class, getting higher grades than most of the white students in the class, and other white students in the class who has lower grades than me? How are they getting into advanced classes? That means when this bitch had the meeting, she didn't fucking say my name. She never recommended me to be into AP classes when, by the time I got into high school. She didn't recommend for my name to be in the AP class list when I got into high school. So therefore, when I got into high school, I was just in the regular class. Which, to be real with you, the regular classes was way better than the advanced classes. They was way better than the advanced classes. Not academically, I mean like as far as socially. The advanced classes, you got a lot of nerdy kids, you got smart kids, but they ain't really nobody cracking no jokes. They don't know how to be as social as the regular classes. You feel me? So in a certain way, I wanted to be in the regular classes, but I knew academically I was selling myself short by being in the regular classes. And it's because this bitch, Miss McEwen, purposely left me out of recommending me to be in advanced classes. And the reason why I know she did it is because even though I was getting good grades in the 6th grade, I'm busting my ass, I'm getting good grades on my tests, I'm doing my homework, this bitch still was hating on me. She still wouldn't give me no acknowledgement. She would congratulate all the other kids, all the other white kids in the class, whether their grades was a 75, 70. She didn't give a fuck. She was congratulating them over me. So seeing that, and then when I got into high school, seeing that I was left out of the AP classes, I realized, I was like, oh, it's this bitch. She never recommended me. So this is how the school system, in certain ways, in certain communities, try to hold back black students. This is one of the ways they do it. They get you from young. They don't give you acknowledgement. They don't give you the credit for things that you deserve. They start it young. They don't do it just in the workforce. They don't just do it in corporate America. They do this racist bullshit even when you're young. And at this time, I'm like fucking 13 years old, 12 years old. And why my name wasn't mentioned? Huh? Why my name wasn't mentioned? I'm getting better grades than Joe Giannotti over here. This racist bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then another reason why I knew she was racist is because that very same year, early in the year, we had this other kid named Joe Ragona, right? Well, his full name was Joseph Ragona. We had another Joe in the class named Joseph Ragona. I'll never forget it. What we would do is we would go to school in the morning and we would have to line up in the back, or we would just be out there playing for a little bit. But then when the class was about to start, the teachers would come out in the back and make us line up and walk us into the school. They had to do everything orderly. You know how that go already. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. Let me get a drink real quick. Hold on. Get a drink real quick, man. I'm kind of parched. Fucking mouth is dry. Get a drink real quick. And I ain't gonna make this story too long, right? So Joe Ragona, we lined up, and we just now get into the hallway of the school now, and he was talking mad shit, like popping mad shit in my ear. I don't even remember exactly what Joe Ragona was saying, but the teachers were standing there, lining us up, getting us ready to go into the classroom. And out of nowhere, I don't know why, I don't know what we was talking about, but I never ever mentioned any racial slurs or said anything racially demeaning towards Joe Ragona at all. I know that for a fact. I don't remember what the exact conversation was about. But yo, And he's a white boy. He's a white boy, right? He's a white boy. After this situation right here, Joe Rogan to have mad respect for me. He ain't never tried again. Joe Rogan to have mad respect for me. He ain't never got slick out his mouth ever again after this. But anyway, yo. Next thing you know, I hear Joe Rogan call me a nigga. Straight up, plain and simple. You nigga, I said, what? I gave him a chance to correct himself. He said, you heard what I said? I said, what? He called me it again. I was like, all right. I waited till the teacher turned her head. The minute the teacher turned her head, whack, punched him right in his shit. Whack, punched him right in his shit. Right when the teacher turned her head. He grabbed his nose. Then, teacher looked. She looked away again. Whack, punched him right in his nose again. So, we go into class now. When we get into class and we sit down, remember, Joe Gianotti's in this class, Joe Rogan is in this class, and Miss McEwen is my teacher. And this nigga's crying, like his eyes are so red, it looks like he's crying, right? Like you could look at him and tell that he just got hit. He had a little bruise on his face, and he's sitting there at his desk looking like he about to cry. So the teacher's like, Joe, what's wrong with you? What's the problem? This motherfucker said nothing at first, right? He said nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong at first, right? But you could see he about to cry. And I'm just looking at him. Right? I'm side-eyeing him like, yo, I swear if you say anything, yo, bro, like, yo, I swear you say anything crazy. So that happened. The end of the day now, we get outside. We had to get walked outside. You know, we left class, got dismissed. Now what we would do is we would stand in the front on the lawn of the school in the front, and that's where our parents would come pick us up. I'm outside now, and out of nowhere, I feel a push in my back. Boom! Mad hard. Guess who it is? It's Joe Rogan. So, you know what I mean? I start putting up my fist, and we start scrapping. I start wailing on this nigga. Boom, bing, 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 bing. Beating him up even more now, because I guess he felt ashamed from earlier when I snuffed him twice. So now he wanted smoke, but he came behind me and he sucker pushed me. Out of nowhere, I didn't even know he was behind me. Now we fighting out there, but now his nose is leaking, and I bruised his eye. Next thing you know, I get home. The principal calls my house with Miss McEwen in the office. Apparently, Joe Rogan complained to her that I had hit him first. But they didn't know the reason why I hit him. They didn't know that he called me the N-word first. That's why I hit him. She didn't know all of that. So this bitch was trying to say negative things about me, how, oh, I'm a bad student in the class. Miss McEwen, like, instead of looking out for me, she's saying I'm a bad kid in the class. How could I be a bad kid in the class? I never got suspended. My grades were good. She was trying to suspend me and not him. She was trying to suspend me and not Joe Rogan for what he did. So this is when I knew this was a racist ass bitch, because you're not asking why we fought. You're not asking why I hit him. You're not asking none of those questions. All you're trying to do is suspend me. And I'm in the 6th grade. My grades are good. I was getting better grades than even Joe Rogan as well. Much better grades than Joe Rogan. Matter of fact, Joe Giannotti had better grades than Joe Rogan, and I had better grades than Joe Giannotti. Just being real with y'all. So you tell me what's up. Make sure to like this video, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. You ever had a racist white bitch or any racist white teacher in your life? Let me know. I want to hear your stories in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. Make sure to do that because it helps the algorithm share my videos so my videos could be seen, and I really appreciate y'all for that. I appreciate that. 300 to freedom, baby. 300 to freedom. So yeah, they trying to suspend me now. Miss McEwen is not backing me up. She's not vouching for me. She throwing my name through the mud. So my parents was like, nah, there's no way this should happen like this, because if they both got into a fight, at least they both should be suspended. They both should be suspended. So my pops was like, yo, and my mom was like, we'll come to a meeting. We'll come up to the school. We gotta have to sit down and discuss it. And that's what ended up happening. They had to sit down with Joe Rogan and his parents. I explained my side. He explained his side. And what they ended up doing was just making us be suspended for like 2-3 days just to make shit cool off. But when we came back to school, Joe Rogan ain't want no more smoke. He ain't want no more smoke. Just being honest, he ain't want no more smoke. He ain't want no more smoke. He ain't want no more smoke after that. It was a wrap for him. But these were the situations that let me know that Miss McEwen was a racist ass bitch. Fuck you, Miss McEwen. I got books now. I got music now. I got music videos out now. YouTube is growing now. You know what I mean? Made mad money online already now. So everything you thought I was or was going to turn out to be, I became exactly the opposite. And it's people like you that motivate us to go hard. It's people like you that motivate us to keep going. It's people like Miss McEwen that will motivate you to become successful. This is how it goes. So I was tight. So I get into high school now. It wasn't until the 9th grade that my parents picked up on what was going on. We had a talk. They had a meeting with my guidance counselor, Mr. Racanelli. Shout out to Mr. Racanelli. Mr. Racanelli was cool. He did some sly shit one time before, but I ain't even that serious, right? For the most part, Mr. Racanelli was cool. He was real. Shout out to you, Mr. Racanelli, if you're seeing this. But because by the time we caught on to what happened, we was already 9th grade. It was like towards the end of 9th grade at that point now. Now I'm in high school. Right? Now I'm in high school. But the issue was all the students, the AP students, they had already taken the science regents, the math regents. They took all the big tests that we supposed to take in New York. They already had taken it already. So all that material they was learning, because I was in a regular class, I didn't learn the material that they was learning. They was a little bit ahead of me already. But what Mr. Racanelli said we could do is, Mr. Racanelli said, look, talking to my parents, Mr. Racanelli said, look, what we could do is we could put John in advanced placement social studies and advanced placement English to make up for the mistake that we made, right? Because they looked back at my records, they saw my elementary school grades, and they was like, yo, this was a big mistake. He was supposed to be put in AP, right? And not to mention, at this point, Joe Giannotti, they kicked him out of AP at this point, and now he was in regular classes, right? So they couldn't put me in AP math, and they couldn't put me in AP science, but they ended up putting me in AP social studies, which I thought was funny because social studies, that was my worst subject at the time. I hated social studies at this time. I wasn't into history like I am today. And they put me in AP English. AP English, I was always great in English. I had no problem with that. So they were only able to put me in 2 AP classes. But my parents, they was like, fuck it, we'll take it. You know what I mean? But this is the way how the school system in certain communities be feeling the black children, because they don't want to give them their credit. They don't want to give them their acknowledgement for the work they're putting in. So they do things and make decisions, or they'll grade in a way that keeps the student back or keeps the student getting less than what they deserve. And that's the situation that I went through because of that bitch Miss McEwen. I mean, this lady was always, she would come in the class every single day. She was always miserable. That's the type of lady this was. Always miserable. You never really seen her smile much. You never really seen her laugh much. Like, this bitch was like, almost like a witch. Like, she gave you witch vibes. Like, witch on Halloween vibes. That's the type of bitch this was. Like a racist ass, Karen ass, you know, KKK ass, KKK grandmother ass type of woman. This is the type of woman this was. Just to give you an idea of who Miss McEwen was. You get what I'm saying? But for the most part, all my other teachers growing up in high school and elementary school, for the most part, they was cool. But I specifically remember Miss McEwen because that was a racist white bitch. Everything she did and the way that she moved just screamed racist white bitch all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of woman she was. Now, all my other white teachers, they was cool as fuck. I have mad white teachers. I could go down a list of white teachers that I had growing up that was mad cool. Mad cool. Miss Sherwood was mad cool. Miss Riley was mad cool. Mr. Reese was mad cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all white. Who else? Mr. Vlasis was mad cool. Dumb cool. Right? Nah, fuck Mr. Sexton. Mr. Sexton was a bitch. He was my Mr. Sexton was a bitch. He was my chemistry teacher. That motherfucker was another bitch. But for the most part, all my teachers, even all my white teachers, they were cool as fuck. I learned a lot from them. They knew how to entertain the class. They knew how to teach. So I respect most of them. But Miss McEwen, that white bitch wasn't shit. She wasn't shit. But Joe Ragona ended up going to the same high school as me as well. But when we got into the high school now, he didn't want no smoke, right? And in the high school I went to was way more diverse than the elementary school I went to. Covert Avenue had mad white kids in there, right? Like, I was like one of the token black kids. Like, there was probably like 2-3 other black kids in my class in the 6th grade in Covert Avenue. But when I got to Sewanaka in high school now, there was way more black students. Way more black students. So I felt a little more apart. You know, I felt a little more accepted in a certain way. But by that time, nobody wanted, like, Joe Ragona ain't want no smoke at that time. And shit was all good at that time. You feel me? So, but this is the way how the school system do bullshit. They be doing bullshit. These teachers be doing bullshit. These teachers be doing bullshit. I'm telling y'all, you better go to your school, parents. Go to your kids' school. You better check up on their work. You better check what these teachers is doing. You better check what these teachers are saying. You better check if your kid is getting left behind, or if your kid is supposed to be getting certain acknowledgments that he's not getting or she's not getting. You need to go to the school and check up on these teachers. You got to check up on these teachers. You can't just think that, oh, you know, especially when you know there's a certain way you raised your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents, they raised me real good. And one thing about it was I wasn't a kid that I wasn't just looking to get into trouble. I was actually focused on my schoolwork. Yeah, I would crack jokes here and there in the class, but I wasn't a disruptive student. I wasn't a disrespectful student. So I ain't deserve the things that Miss McEwen did to me. I ain't deserve her not recommending me to an advanced placement curriculum when she know I fucking deserved it based on my fucking grades. How the fuck I'm getting 90s on my test, but I'm not in advanced placements? The fuck? You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of shit that was going on. But I appreciate y'all for tuning into my video. Love y'all. Make sure to connect with me. If you want to connect with me, all the links are in the description below. If you want to get connected with me, all the links. If you want to learn how to make money online, how to brand yourself, if you want to learn how to market, how to do your email marketing, how to set up your email marketing, all those links is in the description below, and you could just check them out. Feel free to contact me. Got my Instagram in there. I got my Facebook in there. Yo, I got books now, Miss McEwen. I got books now. I got books coming out. What you talking about? I got ebooks out right now. What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? I don't deserve to be an AP class. What you talking about? Fuck all that shit. It don't even matter no more. It don't even matter no more. It don't even matter no more. You feel me? You gotta boss up. You gotta boss up on these motherfuckers, man. 300 to freedom, baby. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.